Hi, thank you for joining me and welcome back to the channel. So today what I'd like to talk about is yet another of the Analogue Productions Atlantic 75th Anniversary series, pressed at QRP, cut at 45 RPM, and this particular one is mastered from the original tapes, I believe, by Bernie Grundman. And I'll just give you a quick look at what you get. So first of all, this is a numbered series. The numbers is a very limited edition numbered series. Number on the back here. It's beautifully presented, high gloss cover, and you can see inside a gatefold here. Some really nice pictures, and of course, being a double. You've got, double 45, you've got 2 discs. I'll just take one of these out just to give you a quick look. And you can see here, we've got side 3, The Glory of Love, I'm Coming Home, and Tramp. And then side 4, The Hucklebuck, Nobody Knows You, When You're Down and Out, and Old Man Trouble. Obviously side 1 opens with Dock of the Bay, which is probably the reason that most people will be buying this album. Now, this is kind of a posthumous best outtakes, B-sides kind of album. It's that kind of thing. It's not an album. It's not an album sort of written and recorded as such. And as I'm sure all of you will probably know, the very, very, very tragic story. The title track, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, was recorded. I think there was 2 recording sessions, and I think literally 3 days after the second recording session, Otis was killed in a plane crash. And this album was sort of put together, obviously posthumously. The single was released posthumously, and it was mixed by his guitarist Steve Cropper. And this album was then released, with that single and a bunch of other singles, B-sides, etc. So it's kind of a what would you call it? It's an outtakes, best of, that kind of thing. And anyway, let me show you my, I would say, original. It's it's not actually, but let me show you. So here we go. That's the Atlantic 75th Anniversary Analogue Productions version, okay? And what I'm comparing it to is the copy I've had for some time, quite a long time, which is this, which is it's actually a UK reissue on the ATCO label. The original was on Stax. So there's the, this is a 1969 issue. So this is, it's early. The album was published in 68. This is a 69 UK, as you can see, made in Great Britain, stereo on ATCO Records. And this is it's a nice sounding record. It's a very nice sounding record, frankly. It's beautifully moving. The music is absolutely, staggeringly moving. And it's just, I think it's an essential. Now, in this Atlantic 75th Anniversary series, I'm not quite sure entirely how many Otis Redding records there are going to be, but I know that we've got, I haven't got, I'm not a massive soul fan, to be honest. I like the best of everything, if you like, but this is my very, very tatty, I think this is a UK original of Otis Redding Sings Soul, Otis Blue, Otis Redding Sings Soul. And I think they're definitely doing this on the Atlantic 75th series. And just so you know, that's an original Atlantic record from 65, Atlantic label from 65, sorry. the vinyl here is in nice condition, but the cover is pretty shot. But again, this is what I would say is an essential. Just if you like music, you don't have to be a huge soul fan. You're probably going to want this. You're probably going to want Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. Sorry, The Dock of the Bay is the title of the album, and you're probably going to want Otis Redding, this Soul album. I'm certainly those are the three Otis Redding albums I'm going to be buying from this series. Anyway, what does it sound like compared with the let's say original? It's not the original, but it's very early. Okay, so the first thing I'll point out is because this is a kind of compiled from various recording sessions, B-sides of singles, etc., etc., etc. The sound quality and the mix is vastly different from track to track. Okay, so on Sitting on Dock of the Bay, the first, the title track, the opening track, it starts out, you've got I've got to try and remember here. You've got bass on the left, and then there's sort of like the sea sounds, the waves, waves sort of breaking on a beach kind of sound, which is kind of distant in the middle. Then you've got the sort of the drums, I think, on the right, if I remember rightly, the guitar on the right, I think, horns on the left. The horns in front of the bass, guitar in front of the drums, Otis's vocal in the middle in front of the wave sounds, and then you've got sort of seagull sounds a bit sort of further, maybe slightly right, and there's a piano sort of buried in there too on the sort of half right. Now the positioning is much more clear on this than on this, but it's just that sort of clarity of the bass. The bass is deeper and more tuneful. The drums are much more sort of clean, if you like. That sea sound kind of track. It's obviously someone's just taken a microphone to the beach. You can kind of hear almost when that track in the mixing is sort of clicked in and out. It's it fades away, and then you can almost hear it. You can hear that track on the multi-track be sort of turned off, so to speak. The horns are much more sort of colourful, natural kind of timbre rather than just a blaring kind of bright, brassy sort of blat in your face. And the vocal, I think, is a bit more sensitive, and I think Otis Redding's vocal all the way down, it's powerful, but it's also kind of frail, and sort of searching, a bit haunting, and you tie all this in with the story of his life and his tragic death. It's heartbreaking, but it's absolutely beautiful. But I kind of wanted to describe like that sort of positioning and the sound of the first track, and it's. I mean, if we look here, we've got Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, and then I Love You More Than Words Can Say, sort of side one here. And then we got Let Me Come On Home, Open the Door, Don't Mess with Cupid, etc. as we go through the album. But some of these tracks are, as I said, are recorded, I'm imagining we've probably got like 4 or 5 sessions through the album. But it'll change. So, maybe on the second track, the guitar is very, very, very vivid. It's absolutely, kind of visceral almost. And on various tracks where the strings come in on this versus this, the timbre and the sort of the sweetness is far superior. But they do, as I say, they do switch things around. I mean, on some of the I think on pretty much every track, the bass is on the left. Otis's voice actually varies from being in the centre to being kind of centre right. I'm pretty sure the drums are always on the right, but the horns will sometimes sort of swap over to the left, and it's you've got a very different sort of feel of the energy and the acoustic from one session to the next. But it's just because I think Old Man Trouble is off of Old Man Trouble is actually off of this album. So there's it really is like a compilation album. Well, it is a compilation album, and you can hear that different sort of different intensity, different sort of ambience, different sort of bite and attack that maybe with 3 or 4 years apart, that the band is and the recording engineers and the producer is putting into that performance. It's just it's a really, really, really great album. I would so strongly recommend it. What you won't hear is like one consistent sort of feel all the way through, purely because of the very nature of this album and what it is. But what you do get is within those different kind of groups or sessions, studio sessions, if you like, you get a. I think that's one of my neighbours is probably sneezing away there. Excuse, bless you. But it is, it's vividly open. It's vividly there. I mean, personally speaking, I think probably my favourite Otis Redding song, full stop, is Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, and that's tied in with it being the sort of the last thing he recorded. The fact that he's singing. It's a very sort of chilled, sort of thought-provoking kind of song. You're sitting there on the dock of a bay, sitting there watching the sea, listening to the sea, and it sort of invokes sort of contemplation at that, and the fact that 3 days later he died in a plane crashing into a bay, crashing into the water. It's hell's just it's amazing. It's amazing, but it's funny because the sound quality of that particular session, and I think that's possibly because they had intentions apparently of going back and redoing some parts, which they couldn't. But it's when you put this on side one, track one, you will be utterly drawn into Sitting in the Dock of the Bay. And it's almost like the sound quality kind of unfolds and unfurls and blossoms and grows as the album progresses, and you get through these, frankly earlier sessions, and it's just beautiful. I don't really know what more to say about it. I don't think there's no point me waffling on for hours and hours. It's wonderful. It's so vividly there in front of you. Like I said, the way the stage is laid out, and actually because of the fact that it changes from song to song, or from groups of songs to songs, it kind of makes it even more interesting. But it is vivid, and it is visceral, tactile and tangible. Okay, so on that note, I will say cheerio for now, and do very seriously consider this, and just going on the sound quality of the tracks from Otis Blue and the Soul album. I think those two are absolutely essential purchases too, whenever they come along. I don't think the dates have been announced on those yet. Okay, so I'd just like to say that coming up next will be my review of the Yes album, because that's just been delivered and it's cleaned. I haven't listened to it yet. It is honestly, it's next on the turntable. And for those of you who don't know, the release has been announced for next month of In Excess, Kick, and also Bad Company, Straight Shooter. And Kick is like, you know, it's just, for me, you know, one of those albums from the 80s that just absolutely blew my mind and touched my heart. And Straight Shooter, frankly, I'm buying off the back of the strength of the first Bad Company album, which is just phenomenal. So plenty to look forward to from this amazing series, and look out for the my next video, which will be the Yes album. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye for now, and I'll catch you all soon. Thank you. Bye.